your girl, Astro by Lauren, aka the quintessential quadrant, your favorite mom in the club, and welcome to this week's Galaxy Grillz. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Hello, my loves. It's been a while. I hope all is well with you and your world, and you've been hanging in there, hanging tight. A lot has changed since we last spoke. Interestingly enough, all the planets are moving forward with the exception of the heavenly body, Pluto. And one might think that means that all systems are a go, but not necessarily. I know that Pluto has been in Aquarius, and once it started its retrograde about 3 weeks ago, when I tell you that my life just stopped like a freeze frame, and this is because this particular transit impacts my particular birth chart very strongly. And when I say, it's not like Mercury retrograde where things are going wrong, or Mars retrograde where you can't get anything going on, and no. When I tell you everything stopped, freeze frame, it's like time froze. Their emails were not emailing. Okay, the phone was not phoning. The things that were supposed to be happening were not happening. The plans were not planning. It was kind of wild. It was kind of wild. I had to really figure out what was going on. And when the universe has you like that, and some of you might have experienced this, when they have you like this in a holding pattern, that's when it's the perfect time to reevaluate and rethink your direction, your approach, your direction and approach. You might have plans that you think were very well laid plans that you might have to really, really go back and rethink another way to do it. And in some ways, it's not even that the old way wasn't correct or that it couldn't have worked. It's just the circumstances dictate that you have to dig deeper. You have to reach higher. You have to think even more productively or constructively about what path you're going to take, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. Is where you're going even where you actually need to be? It's certain transits like this, they will have you really reevaluating your whole entire life. Okay, it's very complicated, and not all transits affect all people. And I just wanted to give you all this little anecdote in case you, like me, maybe Pluto is affecting you strongly in your chart, and you're looking at your horoscope, or you're, listening to pop culture, and there's no retrogrades going on. And in fact, most of the planets are direct. So it really seems like the movement should be moving, and everything should be popping. And if your life has suddenly frozen in time, the same like mine did, just know that the conditions are changing, as they always do. The only thing certain is change. And we just had this new moon in Gemini. Now, right before the new moon, things get really quiet. So if things were already slow, they might have gotten even a little bit slower, if you thought that couldn't have even been possible. But as of May 26th here on the East Coast in the U.S., I believe it was like 11:02, 11:06 last night, the full moon fell in Gemini at 6 degrees. And so that's an energetic push for everyone. And a good time to really, it's literally the time of year in the Northern Hemisphere when the seeds you planted will be, bursting forth out of the soil. And in theory, that is also what can be going on in many of our lives. So new moons are definitely a time to set intentions, but in this case, it may also be a time that your intentions are springing forward. And it might surprise you because of how slow, because of how frozen in time some of us have felt over the past few weeks, I can assure you that just like how change is the only thing that is certain, the conditions are shifting, and this new moon definitely marks a period of prosperity, a period of growth, a period of reaping the benefits of seeds that were sown in the fall, in the winter, earlier in 2025, earlier in the spring, and in March, the equinox period. I assure you that the tides are turning, and they're turning now. Now, if things have been on the up and up, I'm not a fortune teller, but I predict that things will continue to move in the direction they've been moving. So if you feel like your life has really been elevating, then you can look forward to more of that joy and elevation in the next coming weeks. Now, I want to go through each of the signs and talk about where the new moon falls. Now, the zodiac is divided into 12 houses, and mostly everyone knows their sun sign, but mostly when you're doing horoscopes or predictions like that, it's going to be based off of your rising sign. So a lot of people do not know their rising sign, although a lot more people now are aware of it and know it. So when you listen to this, you may want to listen for your sun sign, but you may particularly wish to listen for your rising sign or even your moon sign. And you might find something that resonates within those three, your big three called your astrological signature. Again, not all transits apply to everyone. And so, as my tarot readers often say on YouTube, take what resonates and leave the rest. So for Gemini, happy birthday, Gemini. My son is a Gemini. He's a Gemini son. Okay. His birthday was on the 24th, and happy birthday to my Geminis, friends, listeners, clients, everyone. And, so the new moon's falling in the first house for Gem, Sun, and Gem rising. First house is about identity. It's how you exert yourself in the world, how you're showing up in the world. And so this is a time to reinvent yourself in terms of how you show up in the world on a daily basis, on the day-to-day, at your job, for your family, for your neighborhood, for your community, greater community. It's for the people that are up close and personal, not even so much on the internet, but the people in your inner circle, in your real life, IRL. All right, so for Cancer Sun and Cancer rising, the new moon falls in the 12th house, which is the house of dreams and the subconscious. And so Cancer is very slow to change, if they change at all. Cancer is very sentimental. And so it might be a time where you're mulling over your emotions, as you often do, and thinking about your past. And this new moon can afford you an opportunity to see things differently. Perhaps there is some healing that can occur when you're looking into the deep well of your past, the deep puddle or the deep lake or stream. When you're looking at your own reflection and the part that you played in your past, perhaps you've realized that maybe you can let yourself off the hook. Maybe you can stop beating yourself up for something that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or if you're very young, 5 years ago, 5 months ago. Maybe there's something that you can let go that you've been holding on to in your heart that's time to let go here in the three-dimensional world. The new moon for Leo falls in the 11th house, the house of best wishes, the house of friends, the house of groups and associations. And so it could be a new beginning with a fraternity or sorority. It could be a new beginning in terms of a school community. It could be a new beginning in terms of friend groups, cliques, anything like that. Or it could just be a brand new wish for you. Maybe something that you've always wanted for yourself, that maybe wasn't attainable before, but now your circle of associates, your networks and connections, the interconnected web of humans that you have created throughout your lifetime is now maybe affording you the ability to dream bigger or dream differently than you ever have before. Let's see, Virgo. So for Virgo, this new moon falls in the 10th house, accomplishment, the house of career, the house of how you are viewed from afar, how you're viewed on the internet, how you're viewed by the society at large. And so it may be time to reinvent yourself. For the Geminis, it's reinvent yourself to those who interface with you on a daily basis. But for you, Virgo, maybe even reinventing yourself with a broader stroke, a broader paintbrush, a larger lens. Reinvent yourself in a very big way. Next, we have Libra. Libra, this new moon falls in your 9th house of higher learning. The 9th house is the house of astrology. It's the house of faith. It's the house of expansion, the expansion of your mind and your ideas and your ideals. And so this would be a good time to look past, maybe you're just kind of in a one-on-one relationship, or it's just you and your boo, or you and your best friend, or you and your pet, It is maybe time to expand your view and expand your sights on the broader community, and maybe think outside of the relationships that are near and dear to you, and consider how you're connecting to the world as a whole on a more grand scale. For Scorpio, this new moon falls in your 8th house, in your house of, it's basically the house of death and taxes, but also ancestry, mostly on the paternal side. And so consider, it's also the house of values, but like other people's money. So not your personal finances, but the finances of, it could be your family of origin or of the community that you live in. So consider how you relate to possessions. How do you relate to your possessions? How do you identify yourself with what you have, or do you identify yourself with who you are? How do you relate to who you came from? And maybe if you are not your circumstances, but you're also not you're not where you came from. You're here in the present time. So you may want to reevaluate the way that, basically, the value that you put on yourself. It may be a thing that you're selling yourself short, but just know that everything, I hate to bring him up, but Kanye, our fallen Gemini, but how did Kanye say it? Everything I'm not made me everything I am. You maybe had a tendency to focus on what you don't have or what you have not had, and why it's limiting what you are now, what you can do now. And this is a good time to break the chain, to break those chains that you have to your past, and to a legacy that maybe you didn't choose, and a legacy that you can choose to change. So your life is yours. Your circumstance that you came from created who you are, but they don't dictate who you are to come to be. So you can break free from any type of limitations that you have based off of circumstances you didn't choose by making choices moving forward for circumstances that you do get to choose. All right, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius' new moon falls in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships and just relationships as a whole. So it could literally, and we all love to hear it, be a time for you to start a new partnership, be it romantic, business, academic, any kind of partnership. This is a very auspicious time for you. And the only thing the universe asks is that you keep yourself open to the possibilities. You don't have to seek it out, and it's definitely nothing you can force, but you can prepare yourself and you can be open for that opportunity or for that connection to take root in your life, if you so choose, and if that's what you want. All right, we have Capricorn. So this new moon takes place in the 6th house. It's not as bad as the 8th in terms of death and taxes. It's definitely like health, day-to-day routine. It's a good time to look at what you do on the daily and how it contributes to your goals. Capricorn, I know you love a goal. And so this is a time when you can look at how your small habits can build up into big changes. So sometimes the plan doesn't have to be so grand. Sometimes the details or the smaller parts of the plan can make the greatest impact or a greater impact than you could have ever imagined. So rethink your daily habits and what you do with that time. And we have Aquarius. Aquarius, this Gemini new moon falls in your 5th house. It's the house of love and, well, not love, like courtship, dating. It's the house of fun. It's the house of children. It's the little house of joy. So make sure, Aquarius, that you're taking time out to have fun. I know for a lot of you Aquarius, we don't have to tell you twice. But I will tell you, I'm going to tell you twice. I'll tell you 3 times. Go out, have some fun. Think about what brings you joy and how can you propagate and grow more of that in your life? How can you bake that into your day-to-day experience? Next, we have Pisces. For Pisces, this new moon in Gemini falls in the 4th house, and that is the house of home, your family of origin. It at times denotes the matrilineal ancestral line or just the ancestors in general. Be curious about the connections you have to your past that you might not know about, because just because you don't know about something overtly doesn't mean it doesn't affect you, which is why when there's family secrets and even when you grow up with a parent that is absent for whatever reason, that lineage, those ties still affect you. So be curious to maybe uncover some things about your family of origin. I mean, okay, I know that's kind of like a heavy hitting little assignment there. So, don't go shaking trees if it's something that, is going to be harmful or if it's not meant for you to know in this time and space. But just in terms of yourself, be curious about how you relate to your family of origin and what kind of strengths you can draw upon that here in the present day in your own life. Also, Pisces, be sun and rising, be careful with your boundaries. Make sure that you are exercising proper boundaries. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the ancestors, the ancestral ties, make sure you do what you can to remain grounded here in the here and now in your three-dimensional life, and do understand that just like I was saying with Scorpio, you are where you came from, but you are not yet where you're going, and you get to choose that. You have free will to choose who you become and how you become that person. Let's see. Aries. For Aries, we have the Gemini new moon in the third house. And that's the house of siblings. It's the house of communication. It's the house of neighborhoods and your immediate surroundings. So maybe you want to attend a neighborhood meeting or a PTA meeting, or maybe you want to reach out to your sibs, or maybe you have family as friends and you just want to reach out to your friends that are as close to you as family is. And just be a little chatterbox. So, Aries, we know you move faster than everybody else. Remember to exercise patience, and don't worry if people don't reflect back to you the exact energy that you're giving them in the same way that you're giving it. Everyone is different, and don't take things too personal, because you think more quickly and act more quickly in a lot of ways than the average person. So give yourself a little grace, and give some grace to those around you. Extend a hand to kind of help people catch up if they are not picking up what you're putting down, because you're putting it down so quick, So, Aries. All right, and finally, Taurus, this new moon falls in your second house, and in the second house is about values. It's the house of Venus. It's another house of love, but about shared possessions, or things that, not shared possessions, excuse me. Things that you own and what you choose to share with the world. So the 8th house is about other people's property. The second house is about your property. So you might want to consider what your values are, and if maybe you have something that's very high up on a pedestal that's there for arbitrary reasons, and so consider what you value and what you don't, and then ask yourself, why? Why? And just kind of think through what you pedestalize and what you don't, because you might find that some things that you think are less important are equally as important as those things that you think are very important. So consider ways to balance the way that you think about your values. So that's about all for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. If you're interested in booking a session with me, all the information is down in the description. And hopefully I will talk to you all sooner than later. And have a wonderful night. Bye.